Tonight, the confusing saga about whether ISIS is or isn't defeated. It just got a whole lot more confusing, in fact, because the U.S. military announced late last night that it's dropped nearly 80,000 bombs on a single island believed to be holding ISIS fighters in Iraq. 80,000 bombs. Take a look at this. This is an attack of biblical proportions in a rather biblical setting, by the way, the banks of the Tigris River. F-15s, F-35 fighter jets absolutely destroy the area, believed to have been holding militants in the northern part of the country. Again, this despite claims that ISIS had been defeated. Now, the mushroom clouds that you're looking at right there, look at the size of these things. Look at the frequency. They could be seen from miles away and no doubt put smiles on the defense contractors here in Washington who are thrilled to see their bombs and weapons being used, which now means they get to make more of them and you and I get to pay for them. Most of this massive bombing took place in Iraq, the war that, by the way, we were promised would end in maybe just a matter of weeks, and where our troops would be hailed and celebrated as heroes and liberators, and the entire region would be democratized because of our actions there. Let me remind you that that promise to us was made in 2003 when the Iraq War started, and still we fight, both in Iraq and in neighboring Syria.
All right, first off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect doing the work in sincerity and in truth, shalawam. This is Nazar Khad, GMS Precepts. And real quick, I saw this article that you're seeing now on, well, not article, this news clip you see now on YouTube from RT News, and it's talking about how 40 tons of bombs was dropped on ISIS, right? And that brought me to the scripture. Well, pretty much this is another fulfillment of prophecy, man, because it tells you in Isaiah 9 and 5 how these wars are going to take place. Or not take place, but how they're going to be fought. These wars in the last days are going to be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay. Matter of fact, since I mentioned it, let me get that scripture right now. This is Isaiah 9 and 5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood." Right, because in the ancient days, how wars were fought, they were fought it was like hand-to-hand combat. You had an army, you had a warrior, they had a sword, they had a shield, or they had some type of hand weaponry where they would fight the opposing army, right? Yeah, you had bows and arrows, right? You had an archery, but you didn't have any guns, you didn't have any bazookas, you didn't have any snipers, somebody to shoot you from miles away, right? That's how wars were not fought that way. They were fought hand-to-hand combat. And they show you that in those old movies like 300 and Gladiator. It was physical, right? Once again, it says, "For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood." But it says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And that's how these wars are fought now. These wars are fought with fire, with bombs, with drones flying over you miles away in the sky and dropping a whole bunch of bombs on you. Just like in this situation, it was 40 tons of bombs dropped on ISIS. Okay? Which even the newscaster, he said those, he said they had because they even had their own mushroom cloud. So those are mini nukes. Okay? He said, look what the mushroom cloud these bombs are producing. Why? Because those are nothing but mini nuclear weapons, man. They produce the same energy when they're dropped. They release energy. The same, a small version of energy, not obviously not the amount of a nuclear weapon, right? But it's the same formula. Right? It's energy being released. All right? Nuclear fission is on a massive scale. It's when nuclear the atom splits and it releases a massive amount of energy. That's what nuclear fission is, and that's the technology in those nuclear missiles. Okay, but it's no different. Okay, it's just a smaller version of what's coming. Okay, and what's coming is, just imagine that landmass you see in the footage is being dropped on that small part of the island. Just imagine nuclear missiles being dropped on America that way. It's going to be the same way, right? My next scripture I got here is in Isaiah 34. I'll start at verse 2. It says, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations," right? And the indignation of the Lord is that anger that the Most High has for all the other nations about the wickedness and atrocities that they've done to his people. Okay, the Lord is coming. See, when the Lord returns, he's going to come back for vengeance. He's going to come back for payback. He's not going to come back and hug everybody. Okay, if you're not of the election, right? But the majority, he's going to come back as that lion, just like it tells you in Revelation, man. "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury is upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." And how's he going to deliver them to the slaughter? He's going to allow them to be gathered together. Matter of fact, let me get that in Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. It says Zephaniah 3 and 8. "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations." Okay? That's why that's why all nations are setting up their military in the Middle East. China, Russia, they all have some form of their military in that region. Why? Because it's the Lord, Yahawashi, preparing that third world war, man. He's gathering, his determination is to gather the nations together into one place, right? It says, "For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation." And what's the Most High's indignation? Is going to be in the form of those nuclear missiles that he created, that he allowed these smiths of the earth, or the scientists of the earth, to create that technology of nuclear fission or nuclear fusion, all right, to create the nuclear missiles or nuclear bombs. Okay, "to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured in the fire of my jealousy." And what's going to be the fire of his jealousy is going to be in the form of those missiles. Right? And back in Isaiah 34, it says, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll." Did you not hear the newscaster refer to those missiles being dropped from those drones, those 40 tons of missiles or bombs being dropped on drones? And did you not hear him refer to their mushroom cloud? Okay, why? Because those bombs being dropped are just mini nukes, man. No, they're not nuclear, but it's just a small version. Okay? All right, and that's how these wars are going to be fought in the last days. The wars are going to be fought with fire, with bombs. It says, "And all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from off the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree." Verse 5, For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment." Right? Because the Idumea is speaking about Edom, the Edomites. "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." Right? So the sword is speaking about those missiles. All right? So you see those missiles being dropped on that ISIS land or whatever. Imagine that being dropped on America, but those being nuclear bombs, not those bullshit bombs from drones. That's how America is going to get taken out. Okay? And it will be televised. "And upon all the people of my curse to judgment," right? Because the people of the Lord's curse, the cursed nation is what? You Edomites, man. And you are about to go back to your rightful position, which is the basis of men. All right, so that's pretty much it. I just saw this article, or not the article. I saw this footage on YouTube, and I decided to do a quick video on it because it brought me to Isaiah 9 and 5, how the prophecy said how this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, man. That's how this war is going to be in the last days, with bombs, with fire. Okay? Lord willing, you brothers are edified. Until the next show, shalawam.